There's not been a whole lot of big news around Google's Wear OS since the name change from Android Wear a few months back. Exciting quality watches have been hard to find, and the technology inside them has been stagnant for at least the past couple of years. So as someone who's persevered with the whole smartwatch thing, the news that Samsung might be making a next-gen Android wearable has piqued my interest. The name, as apparently confirmed by trademark filings, is the Samsung Galaxy Watch. And according to the usually reliable leaker Ice Universe, it'll be the first Samsung watch in 4 years to run Google's wearable OS. Yeah, this thing from 2014 was Samsung's first and only Android Wear device. And in the Samsung world, Galaxy almost always means Android. The only exception has been some newer Galaxy Tabs which have run Windows. Nothing is official until it's announced on stage, of course, but let's just stop there for a second and look at what might be going on here. The idea of Samsung using Wear OS, on the face of it, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Samsung has poured a lot of resources into developing its own Tizen OS for smartwatches, and arguably it's been more successful with Tizen than Google has with Wear OS. Current Gear watches enjoy better battery life than most Wear OS gadgets, with a wider feature set and a more coherent UI built around that rotating bezel. So does Samsung really need to upend its wearable strategy and release a Wear OS watch out of the blue? After all, a Gear watch will work just as well on a non-Samsung phone as it does on the latest Galaxy S9 or Note 9. If this is happening, it probably points to some kind of special deal between Samsung and Google. After all, Wear OS is going nowhere fast, it's struggling to maintain momentum, and was completely absent from this year's Google I/O keynote. Having the weight of Samsung behind an exciting new flagship watch would be one way to jumpstart things, and Google no doubt has the money to make that happen, whether it's just a big pile of cash headed straight to Seoul, or something less tangible like privileged software features or marketing support. But that only leaves us with more questions. Samsung certainly will have been readying a Gear S4 for launch later this year, so will the Galaxy Watch simply replace that, taking the hardware Samsung was already preparing and sticking a specialized build of Wear OS on there? Or will it just be a one-off, like the ill-fated Gear Live of 2014? At any rate, it's hard to imagine Samsung stepping away from Tizen watches completely, though it would be huge news if that were the case. Samsung still makes other Tizen wearables like the Gear Fit series that's more fitness-focused, with a form factor that's really not suited to Wear OS at all. One last clue that we have comes from Sam Mobile, which says that Samsung's next big wearable will carry the Bixby voice assistant. And that means one of two things. Option 1, part of Google's grand bargain with Samsung was to allow Bixby onto Wear OS, a huge concession given the importance of Google Assistant for the company. Or option 2 is that the leaks are wrong and it'll run Tizen after all. Samsung Mobile chief DJ Ko already confirmed that Bixby 2.0 will be launching later this year, and if Bixby's first wearable debut comes on a Wear OS device, then of course that is huge as well. It's interesting to note the first reports around a Samsung watch with Wear OS seem to be a little bit of a red herring. Back in June, Evan Blast reported that Samsung employees had been seen with Wear OS gadgets on their wrists, but these were apparently just one-off prototype devices seeded by Google. Further details on the Galaxy Watch are pretty scant right now. Ice Universe says that alongside the new UI, it'll pack a bigger battery, a newer processor with PLP making it slimmer, and heart rate and blood pressure sensing technology. We'll have to wait for concrete answers on bigger questions around what the Galaxy Watch will look like and what OS it'll run. We'll know more when we see Samsung's next-gen wearables in the flesh, most likely at the IFA 2018 trade show in Berlin later in August. That's it for now, thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to us here on YouTube for all our future videos.